Bitcoin's RS flip invalidated. Now what? I think you probably have a pretty good idea. In case you don't, I'm going to do my best to help you out. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Sorry for a little clunky open. It's been a few days since I've done one of these. Been a busy week or so. Got a lot going on and had some family priorities to deal with. But happy to be in front of you today and in front of the charts and trying to figure out what is happening here with Bitcoin and the rest of the market for that matter, right? So let's dive in and we'll take a look. We're going to look at the candle charts. We'll look at fire charts, a bit of manipulation going on in there that I want to share with you guys. But yesterday, you know, we had a I think as good as we could have hoped for speech from Fed Chair Powell. Like we knew there wasn't going to be any sort of rate cut or hike yesterday. The market was really just listening to Fed Chair Powell to see if there was going to be any sort of clarity on what the economy looks like, what the risk of an increase of inflation and recession look like, and the view of the Fed. And, he said the economy looks strong. There is a little bit of a bump coming in from tariffs, but all in all, they did not see any data pointing to an increase in recession at this time, or anything notable in inflation at this time that they were able to track. Of course, it's been a relatively short amount of time since any sort of tariff activity began, and the biggest issue remains the uncertainty over how tariffs will unfold and develop here in the coming days, weeks, months, et cetera, et cetera. So the market yesterday initially had a nice reaction to the news. Pumped a bit, really across the board, Bitcoin, alts, TradFi, and now today we're seeing a retrace of that. So we're going to climb into the charts here. Before we do that, if you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, smash some buttons, help me grow the channel. And of course, my very favorite thing to do with you guys is to engage with you. Live chat is open. If you want to join me, I would love to have you in the stream with me today. If you've got questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If you've got insights, we really want to hear them. So by all means, don't hesitate to chime in. Live chat is open on YouTube. If you're watching on X, leave a comment there. I promise you I will engage with that later today. And without further ado, I guess we can go ahead and climb into the charts at this stage. Let's start on the candle chart and, kind of see what is unfolding. I'd posted something this morning about the fact that after yesterday I posted that, Fed Chair Powell's comments could help us RS flip the 200-day and the 21-day moving averages in one shot, and that is exactly what happened. And today, this morning, I posted, hey, we need to see a retest of those support levels, and well, we got that retest and an invalidation of that RS flip. And this is what that looks like on the candle chart here. As you can see, we had two candles. Yesterday's was kind of nice to finally see something like this. Finally, RS flipping that 200, the purple 200-day and the green 21-day moving average. That was about a 5% candle. And now this morning we had come in and we started retesting the 21, bounced briefly and then came back. I almost felt like this was an algo trade, kind of an algo triggered trade where it just overshot the 21 a bit and then recovered. But then things started to come back down. And, I hadn't seen any news yet, that might have caused this, other than just the fact that there's still fears on the uncertainty over the tariffs. But we know that's going to linger, and that's going to linger for a while. So we might be seeing more of this develop. But I've also spotted some manipulation in the order book, something we've been watching for a little while. That I'll share with you here in a second. First, looks like Sebster is chiming in. Did you watch Trump's 5 minutes of the Digital Asset Summit led to an immediate sell the news? I did not see it, Sebster. If you got any insight as to what he said, I'd be interested to know. One of the things I was going to say, I wasn't sure when that was happening. I was going to say it would be interesting to see if this is just a regurgitation of the same old news, or if he and Saylor are actually going to present anything new to the market, right? Are they going to give us any clarity on how they plan to buy or acquire? Excuse me. He says he wants to acquire more Bitcoin without any tax burden or not tax burden, but without any expense to the American taxpayer. So how are they going to do that? And how much are they going to buy? And what is the dynamic of the basket of alts that are in that so-called strategic digital asset reserve, right? So if we could get some clarity on that, are they going to be buying more of those coins, or are they just going to hold on to what they have? Nobody knows. Let me know if any of that was clarified in the thing in the presentation today. Nothing new, but he's very bullish about crypto and the U.S. Well, of course he is. That's his job. But he's got a lot of hot air, and until it turns into substance, the market is going to be skeptical. So I had mentioned that I'd seen some moves in the order book that did not look organic, and we've been actually. Oh, by the way, thanks, Sebster. I appreciate the update. That's insightful. So thank you for that. Look at this, and just as I was about to show you the price suppression we saw coming in, we're seeing now this get lifted a bit. This is an entity that I have affectionately named Spoofy the Whale. Whether this is the same Spoofy the Whale we've seen previously or not, I don't know, but I'm calling this Spoofy. And you can see we've got liquidity moving around. Let me just refresh the screen really quick so we can manipulate it a little bit better. So you can see, right? We see these large blocks of ask liquidity. They move down, they move up, they disappear, they move up, they move down some more, and price reacts to that movement. Well, now that we've had some suppression, we see that they are now lifting. Look, it's double stacked here, right? 66 million here and another 24 million here. And they just moved it right up. 68 million and 22. So, basically the same stack of money that they're splitting up and they're laddering in here. Why do they double stack it like this? Well, they double stack it in case one of these gets hit, right? He's not gonna give up his whole stack, but he's okay with selling some here if it does indeed get hit. So far, that hasn't happened to him. But until this game is over, or until they just keep raising it up, then it's going to be difficult for price to actually clear these significant levels. So how do you trade this? Well, there's a couple things. Number one, if you can see these moves happening, they're often predictable. The outcomes are often predictable. However, after a certain period of time, the market gets sensitive to it, or excuse me, gets numb to it, and it doesn't have the same impact. That's when they tend to move again. Likewise, there are times where the market just wants to challenge it and take it out, and attempted to do so here, and that was not successful. So if you're a day trader or a swing trader, you can look for these events. And look, this has been going on for a little while here, right? This is what? The 9th. So it's been going on for 11 days at this point, right? And we see these, tip to tail. It's the same entity for a couple of reasons. When one stops, the other one starts, and it's roughly the same amount of money each time, right? So this is a detectable pattern that we're watching here unfold pretty much in real time. And at the moment, they've just raised it up. So now that will likely draw price back up higher. But this is not, after yesterday's comments from Powell, we had the chance to, get off to the races, watch price recover. We start reclaiming these technical levels and price would move up. Regardless of whether there's manipulation going on, regardless of whether, the president's comments influence anything or not, you still have to respect the technical levels in the chart. And sure, they can get invalidated. Sure, manipulation can push price past them. But at the end of the day, until we RS flip the key levels and we see some strength in doing so, I expect to stay in this range. This uncertainty about tariffs and trade wars, not to mention real wars, has the market uneasy. And so I don't think especially after seeing this retracement here today. Now, if this had continued, if this green candle had continued and we saw another green candle today climbing up towards the 50-day moving average and then the 100, and most importantly, RS flipping this 2025 open, then we go, hey, this could be V-shaped recovery mode. But that's not what's happening here at this point. And so because we have this uncertainty in the market, I think there's a really good chance that we stay in this, maybe in this lower end of the range and potentially even grind down lower until, before there's a real recovery. Do I still think the bull market is intact? Yes, I do. There's been a lot of speculation, and of course, the market gets nervous, especially when prices are down and portfolios are down and price is hovering around not just local support but macro support. Right? That's what really scares the shit out of the market. We're not just at support; we're at macro support, and so there's a lot of nervous hands out there, understandably. And if you need the money in the near term, then you may want to consider de-risking. But if you have conviction in this market, if you have conviction that Bitcoin is going to once again be higher than 100 grand or 109 grand, then you probably hang on. Now, what's your cutoff point? What's your threshold of tolerance for some pain and some more drawdown in your portfolio? That's going to be different for all of us. But I'm watching this very closely. I do think that we will see more retests of support. We've had a little bit of support developing here at what's this 82, at 82.5. But I certainly see no reason why we couldn't go back to the trend line and even down to the 75, 76K range. And I'll tell you what makes this even more interesting to me. I've got another chart up here I wanted to share with you guys. Well, this is the 2025 open. And so this is something that needs to be RS flipped big time. But I think I have this on something else. Yes. Okay. So this is actually a new indicator that we're working on at Material Indicators, this timescape that marks yearly and quarterly opens. You could actually set it to whatever time frame you want, but we're tracking this here on yearly and quarterlies. And I've shared this diagonal chart that we had been working on here recently, which basically aligns the annual and quarterly opens and closes, aligns the quarterlies with the annual. All right. And so we're all on the same trajectory here. And you can see they're in blue. This orange one here is the election day Trump pump, and it is on its way to a full retrace. And but these diagonals, there's nothing left here until price goes down to 71 and change. So we could there's a couple of areas that the price could stop along the way, and this remains valid here. Let's go to the monthly and see if that changes anything for us. Okay, so this 71.3 level possible, but I still like the technicals that we were looking at here on the other chart, and at some point I'm going to merge these where we can reference all of these different technical levels here on one chart without having to toggle back and forth so many times. But I just actually did this a little while ago before we started the stream, and I found this interesting that if that 75 level doesn't hold, then we're going down here and potentially even lower, right? My targets on my prior chart, and again, that's a brand new indicator that I'm sharing with you. We haven't even released it yet. We're just still playing with it a little bit, but so far it's been pretty interesting to see how things are playing out on that timescape of levels. Meanwhile, back on the initial candle chart that we've been trading off of for over a year, right? I've had this chart pre-halving. I put this chart together, and it's been consistent, right? So we obviously have our macro trend line here. We have this brief area of consolidation here, which has some confluence with a specific level I've been watching on the RSI. Let's see if I have that open for you guys on something. Maybe I can find it over here. That is Solana, which, by the way, just, Solana was making a nice move. They announced an ETF today, and or an ETF started today, and it's already, that was also a sell the news event, right? Look at this. So happy to have taken some profit on that. Yeah, I picked it up yesterday. It hit my entry. Had a nice little pump. Thought we might go back above this 21 and take that one out. It was rejected clearly, not once but twice. And after I saw that, I said, "All right, let's put in a trailing stop loss so we don't give back everything and can at least harvest some profit out of this trade." So I did. When it fell back below the trend line, that was all I needed to see. So that trade closed on its own. And I would encourage you to set those levels for yourselves before you get into this situation, right? Because here it becomes an emotional decision. But if you set that, if you set that stop before we get there, then you don't have to worry about mulling over it and stressing over it. You don't have to watch it. Just let it do its thing. It closed. I made money. I'm happy. And I'll look for another entry, but I'm not going to rush into it, right? Is it going to be here? Are we going to establish something here at this, maybe 125 level? Or could Solana go lower, potentially lower? And we're going to look to see where the strength is. I'm not going to chase anything. I'm, going to be honest with you, turn the MTF bots on again, because I think that we're getting to a situation where the market is going to be chopping and probably chopping downward a little bit. And those are times when the MTF mean reversion indicator works really well. So I was going to show you something on the RSI on a Bitcoin chart. So let me load that up really quick. USD on the index. And I've shared this with you guys a few times before. The RSI on the weekly time frame. This is specific. It does work on some other coins, but specific to Bitcoin, I could tell you that I like this level, and I looked at this on the weekly time frame. And so that 75, 76 range that we talked about would be right here about this 41.5, where I have this line here on the RSI. Historically, when price is above this level on the weekly time frame, Bitcoin remains in a bullish posture. And when it dips below that, price obviously moves into bear market territory. And so at this stage, and let me clean this up a little bit just so you can see. At this stage, you look and see when it breaks down and we get these longer drawdowns. That's clearly bear market. At this point, we have reverted from our recent dip down near that level. Never made it all the way down. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't clip back down and come test this again. And I'll certainly be watching for that on any major dips. But this sits, last I checked, around that 75, 76K range. So at the moment, that's a reasonable target for a bounce. Now, if this gets annihilated here, that's where I get concerned. That's where I get concerned that we could be moving into bear territory. And it wouldn't do it on just a wick down here, right? So what I would be looking for is a weekly close, right? So on the day we could zip down here, but as long as we close the weekly above it, I'm happy. And in my opinion, the bull is still intact. At least that's the way it's been since the beginning of time for Bitcoin. So that's what we'll watch for again, right? I have no reason at this stage, because the structure is intact, because we have that RSI intact, and because this main structure is intact, I have no reason to think that the bull market is not, still healthy. So we've seen stuff like this before, and it's okay. It's an opportunity, in my opinion, whether we chop along this trend line, or we stay in this range, or we break below it, but stay above this 75 level. That's going to be something I'm watching very, very closely. Now, if we break this, as I showed you on the timescapes chart, the next level is going to be down here at 71.3, and I think 69 could come into focus, but I would hope that we stay above 69. 69 being significant to me for a number of reasons. As I've shared with you guys before, it is the 2021 top, and we spent a lot of time consolidating here. This would also signify a complete and utter retrace of the Trump pump. I can show you that to you here on this chart. It would be, here's the Trump pump right here from Election Day. And if we were to completely retrace this thing, we would be right back where we started at 69K. We literally RS flipped that on Election Day. I had showed that to you guys at the time. Here's the candle. Boom. So this would be a very symbolic slap in the face of the administration here if Price did completely retrace this thing, despite his best efforts to be the crypto president and his best efforts to stand up in front of a conference in New York and get his face in front of that crowd again and say it's going to be very, very strong. Well, what the hell does that mean? What is he going to do to make it very, very strong? What is he going to do to actually add to that stack of seized Bitcoin? Are they going to seize more Bitcoin? Are they going to seize it from you and me? Are they going to tax our Bitcoin? Or are they going to actually go buy Bitcoin? Are they going to sell gold for Bitcoin? Are they going to sell some of the other, pardon the expression, shit coins in that stack to buy more Bitcoin? I don't know. And the market doesn't know. And those are the things we want clarity on. Those, if the president wants the market to respond to his efforts to win us over on as the crypto president and his efforts to tell us that the U.S. is going to be a leader here, show us the action. The words no longer mean anything, Mr. President, because you blow hot air. So show us some action. Show us some action and the market will respond. And with that, I'm going to wrap it for the day, guys. I got a lot going on here. My phone is blowing up and make it stop. There's no rest for the wicked or the weary. All right, guys, I hope this is at least giving you a little bit of insight as to what I'm looking at. And you just got to be mindful here, right? We could be in this range for an extended period of time. You know, this market gets very impatient, and I would just encourage you to be mindful of the levels that we're at. And I would encourage you to maybe use this opportunity to be eyeballing some setups on alts. Tomorrow, maybe I will take a dive into MTF. We'll look at some coins and see if some alts are setting up. And if you have some stuff that you want me to check out, by all means, drop a comment and we can look at some of those coins and maybe share them on the next live stream or an upcoming one. Anyways, all right, guys, have a great rest of the day. Hope you're making money. Most importantly, I hope you're not losing money. Rule number one in this game is don't lose money. Making money comes second. All right. Have a great day, guys. And as always, here's to trading smarter.